Let's go over this assignment sheet together for this hero archetype essay. The first thing to keep in mind is you've selected a character from the list and that character appeals to you, and you've locked that down the discussion board. So now it's time to start thinking about that character. And we think, why does a character do what a character does? Well, in the case of this essay, we're going to look at different archetypes. A character does what a character does because that's what this particular kind of character does. So let's look at what is an archetype in the simplest of forms. So let me show you something real quick. Okay, if I show you this image, what is this a symbol for? That's right, it's a symbol for a witch character. And that's a symbol. Now if I show you this picture, that is the archetype of a witch. This is also a good witch. Along with these characters, there are some assumptions that we can make about who they are, what they do, and why they do what they do based on their archetype. And so as we scroll down the PDF for this assignment, we see that there are some hero archetypes to study. There's the classic hero and the tragic hero, and of course we know the tragic hero is going to die. We know the medieval hero. These are all different types of heroes. They're called archetypes because anytime a hero is a Homeric hero, he's going to do these things. And so as you start looking at some of the programs or films that you watch, start thinking about what kind of an archetype that character is. All characters are an archetype. So we're going to look through this list and study these. And now we're going to go to that list that you chose from, and we're going to think about your character. And you're going to read that script of your character or novel or whatever character you've chosen. And you're going to think, why does he do what he does? And you're going to look over these different character archetypes, and you're going to pick one that explains why he does what he does. Because he is of royal birth, half mortal, half god. Because he must perform extraordinary feats. He's a noble character. Suffering of the character is physical. Death must occur in an unusual way. The hero fights for his honor, his deeds, whatever. Let's say that you've chosen a classic hero. Now you're going to look at these qualities of that archetype, and you're going to relate 3 of them to your character. He is a classic hero because he does this, this, and this. And you're going to develop that fatal flaw. What is his fatal flaw? What is it that he does that's so wrong that causes him to have these problems? Or if it's a comedy, what is it that there's still a little bit of tragedy in every comedy? So you're going to decide which 3 qualities in your character apply. And you're going to organize your essay around those 3 particular qualities. The character is motivated because the character is a particular archetype. So you're going to choose one of the characters. You've already done that. You'll log into EasyBib. You'll create a new project. I'm using the example of A Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm going to click Bibliography, and I'm going to start to research for my essay. To start, I need to learn more about what a classic hero is, because that's what I chose. That whole list has different kinds of archetypes, and maybe you've picked a different one. But you're going to ask Google what it is. And when you log in, Google is going to come up with Wikipedia first. Now, we know we can't use Wikipedia. It doesn't mean that you can't look at it. Then there's something fun about Wikipedia that you can use. So let's look at it together. So I've opened this up, and I know I can't use the Wikipedia, but when I scroll down, I can study it a little bit. It's not accurate, but I can study it. But down here are the references, and these are legitimate sources. So even though I can't use Wikipedia, I can go down here and find some of these articles that are relevant to my study of my character as an example of a classical hero. Let's look at one of these. Let's just click on one of these and open it. Now, I might be saying that my character does what he does because he is a classical hero who is fated by the gods to do what it is that he does. This is a good article for that. This comes from the University of Western Georgia, so that's a perfectly legitimate source. I'm going to read down here, and I'm going to see what I can use from this. And here's little Edith Hamilton's particular essay. So, because I looked at it, I have to document it. Let's go back to EasyBib. Okay, I know I'm in the right place because I see the title of my project. I'm going to paste that in, and I'm going to cite it, and it's going to find it. It's found it, but you see these red boxes. It's going to ask me who that author was. I see the other authors for the project, but the one I used was Edith Hamilton, so I'm going to put her name in here. I'll leave those other names in there because they are also contributed to the article. But now it's going to ask me some more information. I need to go find this. First, I'm going to put the URL in there so that they could find that PDF that I studied. I remember when we looked at it, we saw that it's from Washington, the university, so I'm going to paste that in there because we found that in the article. That's who published it. It's not a page number. Let's find the date that it was published. I went back to that PDF that we found, and I put the title. Up here it's going to ask me for the title. I put in everything I know. I know that it was electronically published in 1997 and that it was published in 1997. Okay, this is all I know about this. I can't fill out anything else. I've done all I can. So I create the citation. And there the citation is in my list. I'm glad I started with kind of a difficult one because not all citations are going to be this challenging. But this one was one that we needed to spend some time on. And I'm going to create my list. When I'm all through, at the end of my project, which is going to have a long list of citations, I'm going to select all, export, print as a Word doc. I'm going to download for MS Word, and I'm going to wait for that to show up in my tray down on my computer. I opened it, and there it is. Now, I'm going to add a lot to this throughout the process of writing this essay. I know that to be true, because I need to look at the psychology of why my character does what he does. There's psychological reasons as well. So I'm going to get all that information, and I'm going to make sure that it's all cited. Coming back over here to the assignment PDF. As soon as I've made my decisions and I've conducted my research, I'm ready to start writing my outline. I've given you a template to go by. This is not something for you to simply copy and paste and turn in, but for you to completely fill out and make detailed in your own words. And there's a tutorial on outlining, so you're going to want to go over this. I'll have another detailed tutorial on this part of the process of writing this essay. But this is a good start to get you going. And that concludes this tutorial.